It's Tuesday, the 20th of May, 2014, and it's day 7 of the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. My name's Hayley. I work for the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council, and today saw the commencement of Agenda Item 4 under Human Rights, including the implementation of the Declaration and dialogue with the Special Rapporteur. For our intervention, we raised a number of issues, including the efforts of states, including the Australian government, efforts in regards to one fundamental right of the Declaration that's also central to the ICERD, the right of Indigenous people to live free from discrimination. This was raised in significance in relation to the current proposals to the Racial Discrimination Act in Australia. And if those changes go ahead, they'll remove significant safeguards and protections against racial vilification against Indigenous peoples. And despite Australia's belated support for the Declaration, governments and states, including Australia, continue to show passivity in its implementation at the domestic level. So we discussed the importance of those principles being implemented effectively at the domestic level. We also have here Chief William Littlechild and also Valda from the Northern Territory. So
Thank you. My name is Willie Littlechild. As was just said, I'm chair of the expert mechanism on the rights of Indigenous peoples. And last year, the Human Rights Council had asked us to do a study on access to justice as it affects Indigenous peoples. But it included in that, of course, was truth and reconciliation processes. So we asked ourselves the question, do truth and reconciliation processes where they exist or have existed improve access to justice for Indigenous peoples? So we looked at that question from a global perspective. We had an expert group meeting with some excellent experts from around the world address the question and decided that we should publish the work because it was such an excellent set of presentations. So we yesterday launched this book, which is a compilation of all the presentations. It's 25 chapters. It's a geographical representation of Indigenous peoples' experiences on or lack of access to justice and what can be done about it. We go through an international global legal framework to look at access to justice, and then a specific focus on Indigenous rights and how these two merge in an experience for Indigenous peoples. We had to also specify a direct focus on women, children and youth, and also persons with disabilities, because we found that these were a grouping of experiences that were usually overlooked or not even taken into consideration. So we're very proud of the production, the publication, because we think it'll be very helpful for anyone who's involved with the justice systems and Indigenous peoples in their attempts to improve access so that it's better for all of us at the end of it all. So we're very delighted we had the opportunity yesterday to launch this. It's an effort with Columbia University, the Expert Mechanism, International Justice, and Indigenous experts all working together. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Valda Nabrula Shannon. I'm from Tennant Creek in the Northern Territory. I came here to talk about the work that we have been doing in Central Australia with the Suicide Story Aboriginal Advisory Group on our program, Suicide Story Program, which is about prevention of suicide in Indigenous communities. This program is a unique program that brings in a lot of cultural ways and community solutions to how we need to work together to keep our communities safe from suicide. This program, we go out to communities and deliver a program, 3 days training program for our participants, community participants, to learn the basic skills of keeping communities safe and strong from suicide. People will learn about recognizing the worrying signs. How do you get close to the person? How do you work with the person and understand why these people are in these situations? We use the FIRE activity to talk about that, to draw out our ways of understanding what's the process or the experience the person is going through, person at risk of suicide. And we talk about the beliefs that stop us from helping someone at risk of suicide. So we use the rock wall activity that our people are very much familiar with in our part of the country, looking at how the rock wall comes up between two people, person at risk of suicide and someone else in the community that notices the person at risk of suicide. What are these beliefs that stop us from helping or reaching out for help? And so that's the rock wall activity. We build a rock wall with these problems, issues we have that come up, the beliefs that stop us from helping. And then how do we get through like water to help the person that's at risk of suicide? How do we work through and get through like water through the rocks? And that's in that activity, it encourages people to talk up and tell their own story, to think about their solution, their ways. How can we get alongside of that person who's at risk of suicide with all these beliefs in the way? We talk about each belief and talk about which one can we work around. We cannot shift it, we cannot go through it, but we can work around and find our way through like water. And I find that this program is very unique in our country because we have also developed our resources in our way. The resources we produced were effective for our people that really struggle with understanding this problem we're having with suicide. So we use, like I said, the fire story, things that we know of that are very much part of our culture, the rock wall. And I'm here to make my statement about the work we have been doing in Central Australia. And I've met with a lot of people, network with people about suicide prevention, other Indigenous people across the world. I'm happy that the Pacific Caucus had tabled it in their statement a couple of days ago, the recommendations of the paper, of the statement that I presented on behalf of Mental Health Association of Central Australia and Suicide Story Aboriginal Advisory Group.
Thank you.